Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. I'm Nicolette Hodge.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. I'm Malik Hodge, and this is We Reflect the Light. This is where we look at current events that are taking place in the world today through the lens of the unsealed scriptures of the Bible that gives us detailed information on what is taking place in the world today and what is going to take place in the world in the near future from the unsealed scriptures of the Bible. Sisters and brothers, we are at war.
All right, we're going to start off with our true history, which is identified in the book of Genesis. We will then identify our reward for enduring our history here in America, and then relate that to the war in the Middle East, while also identifying how the outcome of the war is going to affect the original black man and woman right here in North America. All right, sisters and brothers. We're going to get started with Abram's vision and the Abrahamic covenant. All right. Here we have Abram's vision. This is the book of Genesis. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram,
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. But thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age, and in the fourth generation they shall come hither again. For the iniquity of the Amorite is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a flaming torch that passed between these pieces. All right, sisters and brothers. This is our true history. We endured enslavement and affliction. It shares, know of a surety that thy seed. So this is a definite. This is recorded facts, sisters and brothers. It shared, know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourners. Sojourner means temporarily in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. So this identifies the enslavement that we endured and the affliction. So that's two things. Those are two separate things. Slavery is an economic system of maximum profit, minimum overhead. Working someone without paying them. Capitalism. That does not include being raped, beaten, sodomized, our babies fed to alligators, our men being totally humiliated around the clock, and our women being raped relentlessly by these devils. So that's the affliction part. And we're given a time frame. It shares 400 years. All right, that 400 years lasted from 1619 to 2019. It shares, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. So how do we verify when the judgment started? The 400 years went from 1619 and 2019. Okay, 2020 came in with the plague. So that tells us exactly where we're at in this timeline. Now we're in the period of judgment. It shows that nation that we served will be judged, which is the Caucasian nation. All right, America, Britain, also includes false Israel. All right, they all had a hand in enslaving and afflicting us. And it shows that afterwards shall they come out with great substance. Thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. So where it shows we're coming out. It's identified that this land is not ours. It shared, thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age, and in the fourth generation they shall come hither. Hither means return. And we are in the fourth generation right now, sisters and brothers. So we are in the fourth generation right now, sisters and brothers. It says that hither, they shall come hither again. Hither means return. So understand that the original black man and original black woman right here in North America are the only ones on the planet that fits this description of what our father Abram's seed would go through. All right? All right, sisters and brothers. And this is the only part in the scripture where Abram is called Abram instead of Abraham, which identifies that Ham, which is his seed, we will be separated from our father Abram during this time period. So, make a quick point here that the devils, they call us Ham, cursed black to be slaves forever and ever. And by their own admission, if we're Ham, then that means that this scripture is speaking about us, because Ham is separated from Abram during this time period. So let's keep moving, sisters and brothers. All right, here we have the Abrahamic covenant. The Abrahamic covenant identifies exactly where we are returning to. Excuse me, sisters and brothers. It shares, in that same day, God made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. All right, so this is our vision, sisters and brothers. This is the Abrahamic covenant. This is our reward for enduring that 400 years of horror, affliction. Now, when you look on the map, those two rivers are not in America. So the land that's between those two rivers is Arabia. Arabia is our promised land, sisters and brothers. So this is our vision. Arabia is our home. The Supreme Wisdom Lessons tell you that Arabia is the root of civilization, and that our heavenly home is in Arabia at the holy city Mecca. So Elijah Muhammad told you that we would be fools to stay in the land of our imprisonment. So this is where we're going, sisters and brothers. This is our home. This is where we are returning to. This is our vision. Anyone telling you that we're supposed to stay here, accept reparations, it's just a bunch of noise, distractions. This is our one and only vision for us to unite under, sisters and brothers. All right, so as we move forward, we're going to identify what our history and our vision has to do with the war in the Middle East. All right. All right, first we're going to start off with a news clip, and then we'll go into the scriptures, sisters and brothers.
Tensions in West Asia have reached yet another boiling point as a powerful statement from Iran's Islamic Revolution Guards Corps, the IRGC, has sent shockwaves across the region and beyond. In a strongly worded declaration, the IRGC has condemned recent Israeli airstrikes in Gaza, calling them not only an act of aggression, but part of what it describes as a long and violent campaign against Palestinian leadership and civilians. But it was the final message in the statement that drew the most attention and sparked immediate global concern. According to the IRGC, peace in West Asia as it exists today is impossible. Their words were unambiguous, uncompromising, and deeply confrontational. They warned that the region will not see stability or security unless, in their own words, the Israeli regime is completely removed. The statement came in response to the assassination of senior figures within Hamas in Gaza, including Mohammed Odeh, who was killed alongside his wife and 3 children in an Israeli airstrike in Gaza City. Also named was Ezzeddin el-Haddad, a senior commander of the Izz ad-Din el-Qassam brigades, described as a veteran of decades-long conflict against Israel. The IRGC condemned the killings as brutal and deliberate, accusing Israel of what it called predatory and destructive behavior. It stated that such strikes, rather than weakening resistance movements, would only intensify determination and deepen the cycle of conflict across the region. Israel, for its part, confirmed the targeting of Hamas military leadership, saying the operations were aimed at eliminating key operational commanders responsible for attacks. However, the IRGC's response framed the situation very differently, portraying the assassinations as evidence of what it calls an ongoing campaign against Palestinian resistance. The statement emphasized that every killing, every strike, and every escalation only strengthens what it describes as the continuation of the struggle until the liberation of Palestine and El-Quds. The IRGC also launched a sharp political attack on Washington and its allies, criticizing long-standing Western support for Israel. It dismissed proposed peace initiatives in the region, including plans announced earlier by U.S. President Donald Trump, calling them ineffective and, in its words, built on violence, coercion, and instability. According to the statement, such proposals do not represent peace at all, but rather the continuation of conflict under a different name. The IRGC further accused Western governments of ignoring what it describes as decades of Israeli military actions, saying these events have exposed contradictions in global human rights claims and international diplomacy. It argued that the reality on the ground has now become undeniable and that global opinion is shifting in ways that cannot be reversed. The statement concluded with a reaffirmation of Iran's support for what it calls the axis of resistance and its commitment to opposing Israeli presence in the region. It declared that the struggle will continue politically, ideologically, and militarily until what it calls occupied territories are liberated. As the region watches closely, one question now hangs over an already fragile geopolitical landscape. Is this another escalation in rhetoric or a signal of a deeper and more dangerous phase in an already volatile conflict?
Iran has thrown down the gauntlet at the United States, demanding the immediate and unconditional release of billions of dollars in frozen Iranian assets, while warning Washington that talks cannot move forward unless the money is returned. The fiery message came as tensions remain high sky after months of war, missile exchanges, naval confrontations, and the continued blockade crisis in the Strait of Hormuz. Speaking to Russia's RINA news agency, Deputy Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, Ali Bagheri Khani, declared that the frozen assets belong to the Iranian people and must be released in full and without conditions. Iranian officials argue that Washington has held back billions in oil revenues, central bank reserves, and commercial assets for decades through what Tehran calls illegal sanctions and political pressure. Iran's assets must be released unconditionally. It is the legitimate right of the Iranian people. The funds belong to the Iranian nation and should not remain subject to political pressure or restrictions imposed by Washington. According to Iran's Tasnim and Fars news agencies, the issue of frozen funds has now become the biggest obstacle in the ongoing indirect negotiations between Iran and USA. A source close to the Iranian negotiating team reportedly said meaningful diplomacy cannot even begin unless the U.S. takes concrete action on the money issue first. The standoff has intensified despite reports that Pakistan-mediated talks were inching toward a temporary memorandum based on Iran's proposed framework to end the conflict. President Donald Trump, however, publicly rejected the idea of sanctions relief during a cabinet meeting on Wednesday, insisting Iran would receive no easing of sanctions and no financial concessions in exchange for nuclear commitments. Bagheri Khani also lashed out at Washington in an interview with RT, accusing the U.S. of making detached and unrealistic demands after failing to overpower Iran militarily. He argued that America continues to rely on force instead of diplomacy, and said the conflict proved how strategically vital the Strait of Hormuz remains for Iran's national security. Iranian officials maintain that their closure and control measures in the Hormuz waterway were part of legitimate self-defense after the joint U.S.-Israeli military campaign launched earlier this year. Tehran says its retaliatory strikes under Operation True Promise 4 targeted only military assets and were carried out in accordance with international law. With tensions still simmering and negotiations hanging by a thread, Iran is making one thing crystal clear: no money, no deal.
Sisters and brothers, this clip is showing and sharing that false Israel has to go. Iran is sharing that there will be no peace in the region until false Israel is removed or completely destroyed. Now, that gets us to the war in heaven. Now, we're witnessing the war in the Middle East, the war in heaven, and the war in heaven is America will be thrown out, false Israel will be destroyed. This war in detail shares, let's just get into it, an occurred war in the heaven. The Michael and the angels of him, other to war with the dragon, and the dragon warred and the angels of it. And not it proved strong, not but place was found of them yet in the heaven, and was thrown the dragon, the great, the serpent, the archaic, the being called devil and the Satan, the making to err, the being inhabited whole. He was thrown into the earth, and the angels of him with him were thrown. Sisters and brothers, the dragon, let's begin with Michael and his angels. Michael is Master Farad Muhammad, and his angels are Iran and Syria. Sisters and brothers, the dragon and his angels, and the angels of him, the dragon is the house of Saudi Arabia, and his angels are America, Britain, and false Israel. Now, sisters and brothers, these four countries are at war with Iran. Sisters and brothers, the dragon, the house of Saud, fuels these America, Britain, and false Israel. Now, these three nuclear power countries, they have nuclear weapons. These are the three countries that are the superpowers of this world. These are the rulers of this world as we know it. America, Britain, and false Israel. They rule over the West and the Western nation, which is the other European nations. These are the nations that rules this world, that are in that they call the leaders of this world as we know it. So, sisters and brothers, this war in the Middle East, which scriptures call heaven, shares that the dragon, the archaic, and his angels, which are the devil and Satan. Sisters and brothers, which makes the inhabitants, the whole inhabitants err. These are the rulers of this reality. These nations are influencing the rest of the world. America is the superpower, the ruler of this reality. So, sisters and brothers, Satan, the devil, and Satan, and the dragon, all of them will be thrown out of heaven. That's what the scripture is saying. They're going to be thrown out, the dragon and the angels of him. So this is what we're witnessing. America, Britain, false Israel, and the house of Sod are all being removed from heaven or the Middle East as we speak. America's going to be thrown out, Britain's going to be thrown out, and the house of Sod, Saudi Arabia is going to be thrown out. However, false Israel is going to be sieged, taken under siege, and destroyed in the face of the world. Everyone will see false Israel's destruction. Sisters and brothers, what we're witnessing is directly connected to the original black man and woman here in America. America is being judged, and their reality, this world, is being judged as we speak. This judgment began in 2020. Now, sisters and brothers, all four of these countries are united against Iran. These are the four countries that have, since the war began on February 28th, has stated that they has stepped into the war against Iran. Sisters and brothers, the outcome of this war in heaven or in the Middle East is cleaning the dragon, the devil, and Satan out of heaven. Period. Is removing them out of heaven, which is the Middle East. The Middle East is being cleaned out. The God is cleaning it up. Now, sisters and brothers, the devil, the synagogue of Satan, let me say it like this. Let me say it like this. Our connection, the original black man and woman's connection to what's taking place in the Middle East, in heaven. The dragon, the house of Saudi Arabia, is sitting on the land from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates, which is Arabia, but the house of Saud has stamped Saudi in front of Arabia. Now, that land is the land that God promised or gave to Abram's seed. The Abrahamic covenant says, until thy seed have I given this land from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates. Sisters and brothers, that is our vision. That is our land. America is protecting the house aside and assisting the house aside to keep control of our land. Now, America, let's false Israel. False Israel has stolen our identity. False Israel is saying that they're the true seed of Abraham, that they're God, that they are God's chosen people. False Israel was set up in 1948 by America and Britain. Now, sisters and brothers, America and Britain are keeping and using using the dragon, the house of Sod, and then using false Israel to block our vision and to block us from knowing that we're the true seed of Abraham. False Israel is being used by America as well as Britain. Now, they set false Israel up in 1948 after Elijah Muhammad made a claim that we are the true seed of Abraham. Now, we have the the dragon, the house of Sod, who is sitting on our land, who they are not Muslims. They're not Arabs. They're really Indians from India that was set up. They were set up as well by America and Britain because they didn't trust Arabs enough to set them up on the land because they are benefiting. They're really controlling the region, taking the oil and the crude oil and receiving it for was receiving cheap oil. Now, sisters and brothers, this is what the scripture is sharing with us. All of them the dragon, who is waiting, sisters and brothers, for our unity, our birth, our nation to come together, and the dragon is going to attack us because they know when we unify and when we come together and move and our vision rise to take our vision, to bring our vision in, that means they have to go. Our vision is going home to our land, and they're sitting on our land. So that's what the scripture is sharing with us. The house of Saudi Arabia, is being removed. The dragon and its angels are being removed out of heaven. False Israel is going to be sieged and destroyed. So their religious eschatology, false Israel's lie that America and Britain and as well as Saudi Arabia are holding this idol, this lie, in front of the world, and have the nations of the world blessing false Israel and cursing the original black man and woman. However, sisters and brothers, with the removal of the dragon and his angels, the religious eschatology of false Israel being the true seed of Abraham will be destroyed with false Israel's destruction. There will be that lie, that religious eschatology that they're pushing, that they have been pushing on us for 70, that they've been pushing on us. This lie. That lie will be removed, and America will be thrown out, and Britain will be thrown out, which will okay. This is, let me say it like this. This is what is being shared in this verse in the war in heaven. They're going to be removed, and this is what is about to happen. And with what we're witnessing right now in the world, this is exactly what's happening. This is the outcome from the unsealed scripture of what is about to take place any day. And as each day we find ourselves closer to the dragon and his angels being thrown out of heaven.
Yes, sir. And so, as Brother Malik has expressed, the dragon and his angels will be thrown out of heaven. That means that they will be defeated in this war. They will lose this war. Michael and his angels will win this war. They will be victorious. So, what does that mean? Once Iran, Syria, and Master Farad Muhammad, our God, is victorious in this war, Iran is going to take control of the region. Iran is going to take control of our oil, our holy sites. And that means that America, Britain, false Israel, the dragon, they're totally cut off. No oil whatsoever. Now, how's that going to affect America, sisters and brothers? We're right here being held captive in this land of our imprisonment. They refuse to let us go. That's why things are so bad for them. They will not let us go. So when that oil gets cut off, how's that going to affect America? America is totally dependent upon oil to run their economy. Understand that they need oil for transportation. They need oil to plant crops. They need oil to harvest crops. They need oil to get those groceries into the grocery store. They need oil for electricity, air conditioner, lights, which is electricity, clean water. And without oil, this entire economy will collapse overnight. That's economic destruction.
They need fertilizers as well.
Exactly.
And other things that come from that region.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That they use for many many different devices that they need. They need that the aluminum and different things that comes from that region that they're not getting.
Exactly. So we're already seeing America is under severe economic strain right now. Gas prices are rising with the Strait of Hormuz being closed. That not only does oil, we'll show some videos here shortly that explains that in more detail. However, not only does oil pass through Strait of Hormuz, different resources that's needed for America's planting season to enrich their soil here, such as urea and other resources so that they can even grow fruits and vegetables, which that also reveals something right there, that America ain't got no topsoil. So, let me speak on this real quick. They're trying to give us 6 states reparations. This is a barren land. They don't have any topsoil. Plus, why would we want to stay here in the land of our imprisonment, blood-soaked land? The land has been stripped down. Why would we want to stay here in hell, sisters and brothers? And this war is revealing just how bad shape America is in. And it's only getting worse, sisters and brothers. So this economic collapse, that means that there will not be any food. A total famine of all resources that's needed to run America's economy. So how's that going to affect us? They have us classified as 3/5 human in that U.S. Constitution. So they have us classified as animals. They have us classified as their food source in the case of a famine. So they have legalized us as their food. So we're going to get into some more news clips, and then we'll come back with more commentary.
Fertilizer shortages are becoming a key factor for farmers. Analysts say it's already shifting expectations for the year ahead. Rabobank projects U.S. farmers will plant nearly 96 million acres of corn and more than 83 million acres of soybeans this spring, largely unaffected by rising input costs. But in other parts of the world, disruptions from the Middle East could hit hardest. Brazil, India, and Australia could limit crop expansion and reduce yields. Analysts say those pressures are most likely to affect farmers with less access to credit, raising concerns for global food production and long-term supply.
Due to the ongoing US-Israel and Iran conflict, you must prepare for a severe food shortage. Most people think only oil passes through the Strait of Hormuz, but that is simply not true. This narrow waterway is also an important route for global fertilizer. Reportedly, around 50% of the world's traded urea fertilizer moves directly through the Strait of Hormuz. If this military standoff continues, a global food crisis is inevitable. Urea plays a critical role in food production, and the biggest producers are located around the Persian Gulf, including Iran, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. Large shipments from these nations pass through this route daily. If the strait remains disrupted, we face a massive fertilizer crisis. When supply drop, global agriculture is heavily affected. Dependent countries like Pakistan, India, Brazil, and African nations will face major problems. If this route stays blocked, the impact goes beyond energy markets, triggering higher food prices, lower crop production, and severe shortages. Tell me below what will happen next.
All right, we have another one, sisters and brothers.
I'll admit it. I will eat my neighbors. I'm not letting my kids die. I'm just going to be honest. My superpower's being honest. I've extrapolated this out, and I won't have to for a few years because I got food and stuff. But I'm literally looking at my neighbors now and going, I'm ready to hang them up and gut them and skin them and chop them up. And you know what? I'm ready. My daughters aren't starving to death. I'll eat my neighbors. See, my superpower is being honest. I'll eat you. I will. I'm combat model, optimal self-sufficiency. Probably the leader. The point is have you thought about that yet? Because I'm somebody that thought I could fix this, and I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like sizing up my neighbor, how I'm going to haul him up by a chain and chop his up? I'll do it. My children aren't going hungry. I will eat your. That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your first. I will eat you. So all you spirit cookers act all tough all day. How you're doing your little satanic rituals, drinking blood and stuff. I'll drink your blood. You understand that? I will hang your up and cut you into cutlets like a filet mignon and grill you before I watch my daughters starve to death. See, now you took society and civilization as if it was some joke you can piss on all day. Do you understand? You unleash the animal. Once you do, you unleash the beast, and you're not the beast. I don't claim I'm the most tough guy around, but compared to you, I'm Godzilla on steroids.
All right, sisters and brothers. They're telling you on the news that America has missed their planting season. They did not get the resources that they needed in enough time to plant this year's crops. And it won't be realized how bad it is until, well, shortly, any day now, because right now, let me put it like this. Go ahead, brother. Yes, sir.
Maybe they won't know how bad it is until the harvest season.
Exactly.
You know, they won't be able to really tell, but they'll know when they go to harvest and it's a shortage.
Right.
It's completely short, and a lot of farmers are saying that, you know, they don't even expect to make it through the year. A lot of them have to shut down their farm. A lot of them say they might have to shut their farms down. They just won't be able to recover from the loss that they're about to experience, that they're experiencing right now or this year.
Yes, sir. So the worst is yet to come, literally, sisters and brothers. And that's why we're here letting you know in advance what is about to happen so that we can make the right decision, be on the right side of this. Because You hear these devils saying at their own mouth that they'll eat their neighbors. And before they eat each other, they're going to do what's already legalized. They're going to attack all blacks. All blacks are on the menu because they classified us as their food source already, sisters and brothers. So they're already planning. They have been planning. They're trying to deal with us shrewdly. However, they will not be successful in any of their plans against us. Scriptures tells us that no weapon formed against us will prosper. In this cannibal attack that they're planning on us, they will not be successful. That weapon will not prosper. None of them will. However, exactly what the scriptures is telling us is what we see developing in the world today. So that's evidence that the scripture is our guide. That the scriptures is our true news, future news. And it identifies what's going on right now. So here in the book of Micah, it said, I said, listen, you leaders of Israel. You are supposed to know right from wrong, but you are the very ones who hate good and love evil. This is speaking about the devils. You skin my people alive and tear the flesh from their bones. Yes, you eat my people's flesh, strip off their skin and break their bones. You chop them up like meat for the cooking pot. That is what this devil just explained that he would be doing in the situation of a famine. So sisters and brothers, you cannot make this up. We have to get in touch with reality. Right now they have us in la la land, have us in an illusion, in a dreamlike state, telling you to chase the American dream. This is nothing but a dream. It's not real. Right now, you're comfortable, sisters and brothers, because you have food in your refrigerator, your lights is on, you got the air conditioner. These devils are, supplying all these things, taking care of us. However, all of that's coming to a screeching halt. And this famine, that alone, we are in severe danger, sisters and brothers, on top of the fact that false Israel is about to be destroyed. It says, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, know that her destruction is near. So that's a definite right there that false Israel is going to be destroyed. There ain't no ifs, ands, or maybes about it. Just as Brother Malik identified, they have stolen our identity. And with their destruction, it'll be revealed that we are the true seed of Abraham.
Yeah. That is why America cannot allow false Israel to be destroyed. America knows in the event of false Israel being destroyed, we will come together, we will recognize our vision, and we will rise as a nation, as one body, as a people under our vision. And our vision is to leave America, to return home. And then again, America don't want us in control of Arabia. They don't want us to leave America. So America is planning and has set up a trap to attack all blacks. They have the plan or the trap set because they're expecting. They don't expect what it is they understand that they're under judgment. And they've put into motion a trap to attack us all because they They cannot allow us to come together. They cannot allow us to have any unity at all, at any type of unification of our people. America has always attacked us to destroy our unity, to keep us from unifying. And sisters and brothers, America has set up and put into motion the DOD 5240.01. The Department of Defense has set up on and activated this directive on September the 27th, 2024, and have made it legal for all levels of policing, law enforcement, to use lethal force on American citizens. Sisters and brothers, in any foreseeable, what is it?
If they even anticipate us,
Anticipate
our unity,
us unifying or coming together, they have set a Department of Direction, a Department of Defense directive that they are able to use lethal force against us. Sisters and brothers, that is set up for the attack on all blacks. Now, you have to ask yourself, sisters and brothers, what we're witnessing and have been witnessing throughout the last year or so, 1 on 2, these ICE facilities that are ballooning up all across the country. They have been carrying out practice dress rehearsals throughout the country on how to implement the use of the military, how to come in, and they have set up at different levels of government, because reading the DOD directive, all levels of government, of law officials, from every level are going to be utilized in this attack. From the military, CIA, FBI, ICE, the city, from the city and state level, all levels. America is going to send out a national security alert. And that alert is going to be sent out to attack and kill all blacks. Sisters and brothers, the unsealed scriptures lets us know what they're planning to do. However, sisters and brothers, Allah is the best planner. Don't, we are going to be successful. We're going to overcome what their plans. We have a doorway out of America, and that is our vision. Sisters and brothers, we're going to unify under, or what is that? Under our,
Yes, sir.
under our vision.
Yes, sir.
As one people, one nation. And with our new mind, the angel mind, using the 5 pillars of Islam for our protection. Sisters and brothers, our pressure is going to be higher our pressure will be higher as well as us using the 5 mathematical pillars. There's nothing that they can do to us. That's really why they're going to have to get away from us, because what's going to happen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Exactly. So, by us applying discipline, being ourselves, all right, operating off of our true nature, which is discipline. The 5 mathematical pillars of Islam, as Brother Malik said, that increases our pressure. That increases our pressure. All right, so that is where our power is. Our power is in our discipline. So with us rising above these devils and the rest of our enemies, because by us increasing our power, that raises our frequency above them. That makes us the high pressure. High pressure defeats low pressure. So they refuse to let us go. However, they can no longer control us once we achieve that discipline. So all of that unity, exactly, which is part of our discipline. So all of their plans are already backfiring on them. However, they're going to see that on a whole nother level. So here in the scriptures, the book of Isaiah, we're told, therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says, my servants will eat, but you will starve. My servants will drink, but you will be thirsty. My servants will rejoice, but you will be sad and ashamed. My servants will sing for joy, but you will cry in sorrow and despair. We're seeing 2 different contrasts, 2 different experiences happening at the same time. What's going to happen to our enemies, the low pressure? They're the ones who's going to be going hungry, starving, thirsty, sad. And then the contrast, it shows how what we will be experiencing during this time period of the economic collapse, the economic destruction and famine. We will eat. We will drink. We will rejoice. We will sing for joy. We're going to be, it identifies our emotions at the time. As that we will be disciplined or disciplining our emotions, of course, however we would be happy. This is the attitude of somebody who's kicking ass, victorious. Going home and making that, going through that process of making our exodus out of America, getting to our extraction point so we can get up out of here. So our victory is all throughout the scriptures, sisters and brothers. So this is a time to be courageous and to be fearless. Because we have one vision to unite under. We have a door out of America, just as Brother Malik expressed. So our enemies, they refuse to let us go. And that's to their own destruction. They're going to be crushed by us. Because they can no longer control us. No, they can no longer contain us. Once we achieve that unity, that discipline, coming together as one body under one vision, which is the Abrahamic covenant, sisters and brothers. So this is motivation and reinforcing the fact that we will be victorious in this battle. We have been victorious in every battle. So our victory is going to continue, sisters and brothers. And so, would you like to add anything else, Brother Malik?
I had something. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sisters and brothers, our enemy's mission is to block our vision. It's to have our people without a vision will perish because we'll be going different directions, never unifying, not having a unified direction, a unified idea to direct to unify up under. Sisters and brothers, the scripture lets us know that God, this is what you have to understand, God gave us, the seed of Abram, the land from the river Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates. God said, I have given them the land from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates. And after that 400 years, sisters and brothers, that's where we're returning to. We're coming out of America with great substance. Gold, silver. We're winning on every level. We're coming up out of here, as the sister said, kicking ass, taking names, and leaving. Returning home.
Yes, sir.
And we're witnessing Iran, Master Farad Muhammad's angels in Syria cleaning out heaven. And when Master Farad Muhammad makes his appearance, when they attempt to use nuclear weapons against Iran, then you, sisters and brothers, think on that. It's not China, not Russia, who they're at war with now. Iran. Taking on big bad America, Britain, and false Israel. The world, that's the superpowers of this world. That's who, these are the powers that are ruling over the world, along with France and the rest of these. They rule over the other European nations. Sisters and brothers, this is our time. Their time is up, and they're fighting, trying to keep control trying to keep their rule, and they're becoming more and more frustrated and more violent to try to keep it. But everything they're doing, sisters and brothers, false Israel, America, is going to backfire on them. And you can, that we're witnessing it take place every day. The scriptures, the scriptures come more and more into fruition by the day.
Exactly. Yes, sir. In addition to what Brother Malik expressed about us coming out with great substance, that means great wealth, sisters and brothers. So it's not limited to, just one type. It says great wealth. Great wealth, not just wealth. Great. It says great substance. That means wealth, great wealth. So 100% victory on all levels, sisters and brothers. Economically, we get our land back, land that has already been given to us. We get our minds back, the angel mind. We get to, how do I say it? Let go of this enemy's way of doing things and operate according to our nature. We're getting a thorough knowledge of self says that we cannot return home without thorough knowledge of self. So all of those things, just a total victory on all levels, mentally, physically, emotionally. You got our discipline, so we get our emotions in check. And we can make, logical, sound decisions and securing each other in one body, sisters and brothers. So that's total victory from A to Z. So understand that this is what we have to look forward to in this time of unprecedented trouble that we are stepping into, sisters and brothers. So with that brings this segment to a close. We will be back with more. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.